Had a dream, I had it made. Now there's nothing dragging down on me, yeah. Cause I gone, push it all out the way. Destined to breaking, I found my way, yeah. And now I made nobody gonna take it. Cause I gone, pushed them all out the way. I had a dream that I made it here in the spotlight. Woke up, seeing my life in the shade. Nah, it's not quite. Hustling every day, I'm on my way to job like it's my destiny to be big, but yeah, I got fight. And I've had visions of sitting high on my old gold throne. Never listened to criticism, I built my own. From the bottom, I never got enough my own zones. Fuck, I fucked that up. This is hard. This song is too hard. All right.
You did better than I would have.
I know, this song is hard.
It is.
Had a dream, I had it made. Now there's nothing dragging down on me, yeah. Cause I gone, push it all out the way. Destined to breaking, I find my way, yeah. And now I made nobody gonna take it. Cause I gone, push them all out the way. I remember when I couldn't pay the rent. Now I own the whole building that I'm living in, and it's got the limit, and you've never given in, and then you get it and you ride it out and don't look back again. And I've had visions of sitting high on my old gold throne. Never listen to criticism, I built my own. From the bottom, I've gotten myself in my own zone. Never stopping, I made it, and I know I ain't going home. Had a dream, I had it made. Now there's nothing dragging down on me, yeah. Cause I gone, push it all out the way. Destined to breaking, I found my way. And now I made nobody gonna take it. Cause I gone, push them all out the way.
Yay!
Yay! Holy shit. I should have practiced.
Talking about bossing up. Okay. So welcome everyone to Wednesday Night Shooting. I am Tonya Rodgers here with the lovely Andrew M. Swift.
My voice is gonna crack like a million times during this show now. I swear to God. My voice was already like shot going into it because I was practicing like for the hour before NXT. And it apparently did not pay off that much because that was not very good. I'm sorry. I did not do it justice to that hot-ass theme.
Well, you tried.
I tried. That's the important thing.
We're giving people gold stars for trying this week anyway.
I got my very own Ms. Participation Award for doing that song.
Yeah. And somebody else, 5 other people got a participation award apparently. But let's talk about this. The title of this show is called Boss Up because this week the women have bossed up. They main evented 3 nights in a row: Raw, SmackDown Live, and tonight in NXT. And tonight we're going to talk about, start up a little different. We're going to talk about the last man standing match because I'm not calling it a woman match. It's the last man standing match. Every other match I watched was the last man standing match. So I'm not changing the name. So between the NXT Women's Champion Asuka and Nikki Cross. And you can go ahead and give your thoughts first, Andrew.
Oh, man, I tell you, Nikki Cross she's great. I'd take her over. I'd take her over like just about anybody on the main roster. I swear to God. In terms of like just when she shows up, you just know shit's going to go down. And like it would be very easy for that sort of character to be like way over the top and just be like not unbelievable in the sense of like literally not believable. But like for some reason, I don't know, her even like jumping on the fronts of like cars, you know, as like they did the intro for the show when Asuka was coming in, and Nikki just jumped on the front of the SUV like it was no fucking thing. Like, whatever, I'll fucking do whatever. And it would be very easy for that to be like you just roll your eyes and be like, oh God, here, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know, she pulls it off. She has that, I don't know, that sort of barely controlled chaos going on, you know, and she's terrific. And Asuka's an ass kicker and always has been. And they brought it down. And, you know, when you have the whole point, here we go. The whole point of a stipulation match is to make use of the stipulation. So, like, if it's a no disqualification, like the no disqualification match that Baron Corbin and Bull Dempsey had a couple of years ago at, what was it, Our Evolution, I think, when they literally did nothing that would have, like, ended in a match and a disqualification, was rightly lampooned as being fucking ridiculous because they didn't use the stipulation whatsoever. So, in a last man, last woman standing match, whatever you want, last person standing, whatever you want to call it, it's, you know, you get to use whatever. So they fucking use whatever. They use trash cans, they use fucking chairs, they use tables, they use ladders, and, you know, it's just great. And the point of that match is, like, the point of that match, or like a TLC match or a ladder match or something like that, is that you have the opportunity to do these things and use these things that you don't have in a normal match. So if you don't actually use the things, excuse me, that you have available to you, it just makes the entire match fucking stupid. Because by definition, a match like this, ladder match, table match, last person standing, falls count anywhere, whatever, etc., etc. I lost my train of thought. If you don't use like all the props and furniture and the crazy bumps that you can use, the match is structured so that it relies on, like, very discontinuous violence. Like, you build up to a big thing, the big thing happens, and then people, like, have to take it in, you know, fans soak it in and be like, oh shit, like, you anticipate it, and then it happens, and you're like, oh, that was fucking nuts, and then it builds a little bit back up to the next big thing. But if you never do any big thing, then the match just kind of sucks, because it's not like you can do a bunch of character work in one of these matches. Like, you can show you, like, controlled violence and stuff like that, but you can't really tell a story without the props in these sorts of matches. And so when you don't use the props, the match just sucks. And frankly, I kind of liked the original at Money in the Bank. I need to go back and watch it because, again, eyes were probably a little glossy. First women's ladder match, probably rated it too highly then. I feel like I was the high person on that match, but last night was just not good. And for people to be saying that last night was a good match or a good ladder match, then that means we have defined the level of good so far down that it no longer means anything. If we can say that those two ladder matches that the SmackDown women have had, and let's be clear here, neither of us is blaming this on the women. It's on the women. We know that these women want to do what the fuck ever to get the match over, and will do whatever. Clearly, there are restrictions placed on them, as you can tell between the difference between NXT and the main roster. So, like, if you're gonna tell us that last night was a good match, then basically we might as well just be saying, you know what, Lana's a really good wrestler. You know what, I think with a couple more reps, Ava Marie would have been worthy of the NXT Women's Championship. Like, you're just fucking saying nonsense at that point. And if you are just going to be like, oh God, no, we can't, that was a fine match, it was a good match. Like, I'm sorry, it wasn't. Like, we need to be able to, I mean, granted, everything is subjective in reviews and ratings and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But we need to be able to, like, legitimately give some sort of assessment here, like some sort of level of objectivity. And if we just say trash is good, then nothing means anything. And this is what people have been saying for the last 24 hours or so. And it's extremely frustrating. As someone who has put in a lot of hours to get this, and as did you, to get to the spot where we're in a position to review one of the biggest wrestling shows in the biggest wrestling company in the world on a very heavily trafficked wrestling website. Like, our opinions, I'm sorry, folks, they have more weight than yours. I'm just fucking sorry. You can come at us and say shit all you want, but the fact that who we are and where we have gotten in our careers, whatever you want to call them, means that our opinions do have slightly more value. We are not paid to think about these things a lot and to write words about them, okay? So when you all can present your arguments in ways that are not fucking bullshit, then please come at us and please write your own reviews, because it's always good to have criticism that's legitimate. But until then, just think about what you're writing before you hit send.
Okay.
I did not expect that to go in that direction.
I know, right? Neither did I.
I got worked up. Holy shit.
Here we go. I don't know how to follow that. I was going to be like a sarcastic asshole, really, and talk shit about this last woman's standing match. But it was great. It was wonderful. It's everything you need a gimmick match to be. Listen, if I want to see 5 women just wrestle and kind of hurt each other, then don't have a ladder stipulation. You say the first person to get a pinfall or submission wins the briefcase. If you like, these women are professional wrestlers. People get hurt, get fucked up on a back bump. There was a guy a couple of years ago who passed away from taking the setup move to a 619. Mm-hmm. So you cannot wrap wrestlers in bubble wrap. This is their job, to hurt themselves for your entertainment. That's what it is. This is what you're watching. People purposely hurting themselves to entertain you. So where do you draw the line? I just don't get this concept that you don't need big spots in a gimmick match. Where? In what wrestling organization? See, this is the part, and I didn't see any women saying this. Once again, just like the finish to the Money in the Bank match, I didn't see any women like, yeah, this is the greatest thing ever. Fuck yeah, man won. So when I see men white knighting for women when they shouldn't be, is that you're misguided, you're misplaced. Women want to be equal. So if something that a woman does suck, you don't take a few points of suctitude away because they have a vagina. That is patronizing, and it's also a form of sexism. I keep saying this all the time. Women, we're the shit. We're tough. We're strong. We can handle these things. It's not out of the line to suggest. Now, maybe they should have made accommodations lower, because the women, they're smaller than the average man, and they're shorter. So I have no problem with having them work with shorter ladders or lighter ladders, lowering the briefcase a bit, so that, you know, they won't have to take a 20-foot fall. By the way, I don't want to see anybody like falling off the top of the ladder. And that's what people were equating what you were saying, is that they just had to fall off the top of the fucking ladder. That's not the truth. But if you're not going to use the ladder as a weapon, people will either assume it's the company stopping you. And that wasn't the big assumption. The big assumption was that those women were afraid to go out there and bump. And I refuse to believe that. Even Tamina and Carmella, I refuse to believe that those women were scared to do it. I don't think that was asked of them. I think certain ideas they had were shot down simply because it's still PR, it's still fake progression, and they really don't want women to get as pop. There are still people, and I don't think it's their peers. I think it's people in management, for their own selfish reasons, who do not want to see a woman work like a man, get the same type of recognition as a man, and get as over as a man for doing things that men traditionally do. Now, it's fine to get over if you're hot, you know, if the guys want to fuck you, or you can talk. That's fine. But getting over for being a fucking beast in the ring, no. I do not believe that they want to book women that way. And there are always subtle things that are done to smack down the women's talent. Not to make a pun, but I just did. They do things to bring down the female talent and the fans that are behind the female talent. I was watching a series of videos on YouTube, and Andrew will attest to it, earlier today. One of them that I was watching was the Pops from Raw. And the person was just taking clips of the videos and just pointing out who got cheered, who got booed, what chants were said. And I found it very telling that they showed the scene for the the number picking for the gauntlet match, right? They showed Kurt Angle at first, and he got a big pop. Then they showed the camera go to Bayley, no reaction. And this is in Los Angeles. She's from California. It's fucking criminal, and there's nothing remotely sexy about Bayley. That's why I absolutely believe the idea was bantered about of her kissing a boy. Because the men that run that company cannot get it in their heads that a woman can just be marketed as an athlete and as a fighter and as a warrior, and that's enough. No, you also have to want to fuck her. You have to. And that's the problem that they have with Bayley. You're seeing that. It's a lot. It's just, like I was like, okay, I watched SmackDown because they were redoing it, but then I changed my mind because I was like, this is all a part of their plan, and I'm not gonna fall for it. And like, I'm tempted to watch next week simply because the Usos gonna be rapping.
Oh my god, that's gonna be insane. That's gonna be insane,
right? Usos and New Day gonna be, but like seriously, I just don't. I don't really have it in my heart to watch that show because I don't think they're serious. And like, I can get behind Naomi. I loved it's just a feeling. There's been a feeling of ick that's been put on SmackDown Live to me coming from the women's division. And right now, I'm not cool with it. I just don't want nothing to do with it. And maybe if I had heard they let those women go out there and they tore the house down, they left it all out there, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I would be like, oh, okay. Well, maybe slowly but surely things are changing. No. When you go through all this trouble to hype this up, and then you give them nothing. And then once again, the man, James Ellsworth, takes the biggest fucking bump in the match. Amazing. I refuse to believe that the people that run that company, including Vince, are that fucking tone deaf. They know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to do it in subtle ways, but I see through that bullshit. And there's no more clear example. Watch the women's Money in the Bank match, either one of them. And then don't even watch what happened tonight. Watch Sasha versus Charlotte Falls Count Anywhere match. Like, imagine if they had a Falls Count Anywhere match that never left the ring. Just imagine that shit. Imagine having a chairs match and not one single chair is used. So it's a combination. Like, I can understand not having faith in some of those performers, but don't tell me they don't have faith in Charlotte to pull out a match like that when she's been in matches like that. Don't tell me they don't have faith in Becky Lynch to take that bump when when she had a tables match with Alexa Bliss, she was the only one who went through a table during the build-up and during the match. Alexa never went through the table. So don't tell me they didn't think Tamina was heavy enough to break a table. Why is Tamina Snuka the focus of a ladder match? If she's in her late 30s with bad fucking knees and couldn't work that well when she had good knees. There's just, oh, I don't know. The state of women in the WWE is always going to be something that's like, I'm just going to be so torn for like ever and ever until the booker changes. Because like, I don't know. I think there's a lot of people behind the scenes that are not Vince, that are still stuck in their ways. And they are, oh yeah, anytime he has a bullshit idea about the women, they're like, yeah, that's great. There's still a lot of misogyny. And a lot of it isn't even misogyny. There's like a political Game of Thrones shit going on back there between Vince's team and Triple H's team. And any gains made for women, no matter who gives the okay, is going to be attributed to Triple H because of what he did in NXT. And just by the fact that they have to put Stephanie out there as somehow involved in this, when she absolutely is not. That's another little political bullshit. Okay, we're cool as long as it's Stephanie McMahon, because that's not Triple H. It's so much bullshit going on, and sometimes I just like, can't you just, it is as simple as letting them go out there and just be professional wrestlers. It's just that simple, and we can't fucking get it. It's always got to be a twist. Oh, Carmella wouldn't have been this. Oh, like, seriously, hooray for Carmella that she's getting over because of this angle. But don't you doubt for a second, whatever heat she's got, that's going to be her heat to have. If they're deciding to push her, because this is how Vince does, he's going to push her and only her at the expense of all the other women. So to me, getting that heat and it's not going to help the women in the company or in the division as a whole, it's fucking useless. You just give it to one person and it never goes anywhere. That's why I didn't like AJ Lee as much as other people did. Because not only was the company not interested in putting anybody else over, she didn't want to put anybody else over. At all. Actually did the opposite. So what it boils down to, they're going to have to start presenting those women as full, like, people who want competition and aren't just catty and do stuff because, you know, bitches be bitches. Or like, start presenting them better, start letting them fucking wrestle, and start paying them fucking better. Otherwise, it's all bullshit. It's all PR. And that's where I am with that.
You know, maybe there's a reason they've never made they never put the whole spotlight on their best female talent, and maybe it's because she's really good at getting other people over. I can't have that. Like, you only get yourself over. You can't be getting other people over. That's just,
yeah.
Everything dare you do that?
Yeah, everything Sasha touches seems to go up along with her.
That's just, it's funny how that works, right? I'm sure it's just coincidence. Yeah. I'm sure, right? Yeah. So, name of the show again, Boss Up.
Boss Up. And who else bossed up? Naomi, baby.
Oh, yeah. My God.
I watched that clip on YouTube like 50 times.
They put the whole match up on YouTube, didn't they?
Yes, because
it's literally 90 seconds. Yeah. They're like, we don't have anything to cut from this. We have to put the entire thing up.
Yes,
I tell you what, yeah, that was when she kicked her in the head and she fell down and she dragged her to the corner. I was like, oh, I see. They're doing what they're doing what I think they're doing here, and I just was getting excited. I was like, fucking yes, fucking pin. Fucking split leg moonsault, 1, 2, 3, and she barely. Honestly, ref should have been like, "You got off of her before the 3 count. You need to go back and pin her again," because she was just like 2.5. All right, this is over. I don't need to pin you anymore. She fucking got up basically. That was terrific. I love that shit. Oh man, that match was, whew, I tell you. And it's so weird because when they do something like that, I don't know, maybe it is just a rib on Lana. Like, maybe it's not no larger point. Like, look at this. Like, we understand what we're being conscious of what we're doing here. Maybe it's just like fucking Lana ruins angles and allegedly gets on Rusev's Twitter and tweets shit under his name. So we're just going to make her look like an idiot. But I don't know. Who fucking knows? It would be nice, not saying that Triple H is immune to backstage shit, because God knows he ain't, but it'll be nice when the company is in a place when we don't have to think, man, I wonder if this little thing is because the company has heat on her for a weird reason or two, you know?
Yeah, but that's Triple H. That's for guys. So like,
yeah.
The men in the company will still have to like.
All right, well. They all fucking suck anyway.
No, they do not.
Oh, I know. I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking kidding. There's a lot of good shit going on.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because like his pros for creative, because I really don't know what type of businessman he is. I don't think any of us will really know until he gets from under Vince. But as far as creative, he should be running it right now. I mean, he is the COO of fucking creative, so, or a CFO, whatever the fuck his title is. His title includes creative, but I guess that's only on NXT. Although he is there during the writer, like I think it's at Raw at least. He's at every writers meeting.
Yeah.
So
ultimately, I think it's a combination of a bunch of bad writers on the main roster and then Vince. Like you said, there's a lot of people in the company, whether it be misogyny or whatever, just have a lot of bad ideas and philosophies, and they're in very high places in the company, and that's going to be an issue until there's a changing at the very top. So, I mean, it's gonna be good for, you know, some weeks and maybe even like a month or two, a couple months at a time. And then, you know, the programs will just get bad again for weeks on end, or, you know, it's very strange. And there will never truly be a legitimate understanding between the company and its fan base until there's change at the very top. Like this, and you know me, I've felt this for 20 years now. Since when was 19 years and 9 months or so? Can I do math? June 6, 7 months. All right. I'm very bad at math. I'm sorry, folks. This is why I write words and not do math problems. Yeah, so this, I don't know, it's very frustrating, but like we have this triple main event this week of women in all the shows, and then you know, next week, but the week before, like, we had a man winning a women's ladder match, and we had the women on Raw got like 4 minutes at basically 11 o'clock my Eastern time, essentially like 10:50 Eastern time. Then a segment that had nothing to it and made no sense whatsoever. So it would just be nice to get a little bit of a consistency, but I don't think we're going to be getting that anytime soon. So it's, Tonya, have you watched Glow by any chance?
No, I don't have Netflix.
You don't have
now.
Netflix? Okay.
No.
All right, that's a shame because that show is terrific, and some people have speculated that part of the reason why the women got a triple main event this week is because it's critically acclaimed Netflix show.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. That's
Which is weird because WWE has made literally no mention, and I haven't even seen any performers tweet about it. Which
they
is
probably were told not to. Like WWE controls their social media,
which is fucking weird.
Weird. And like if I worked there, I would totally be CM Punk and be like, "Fuck you, you're not." I'm serious. Fuck you, you're not having any control over my Twitter.
Would you open a shoot account under your own name and just just fucking do reality and shit like that? That would be lit.
I already have it.
They should literally run an angle where a talent opens a shoot, like publicly does a shoot account under their own name, and obviously it's work shoot, but God, that would be good, man.
Like, bitch, first of all, you call me an independent contractor, and that's a little too much control for me to be an independent contractor.
Right? Seriously. That's oh my God. Let's not even talk about their labor practices.
That bullshit. Listen, because as I said, I was watching certain things on YouTube, and I listened to a certain Talk is Jericho podcast again. Where it was described as, the locker room back then, it was competitive hate, but now it's competitive love. And like everybody wants to see everybody. And I was thinking, goddamn, they are so close to unionizing and they don't even fucking realize it.
Oh God, that would be so fucking lit.
Oh my God. And the person that was saying that, I was just like, please get enough money and do it. Just for the fuck of it. Just Roman Reigns.
Oh shit.
Just to fuck with the smarks, because they would not know what the fuck. They're like, wait a minute, Roman Reigns won't resign. They're like, oh, he won't resign his contract unless there's a union. Wait a minute. I'm so conflicted.
God.
On the one hand, he's not going to resign his contract. Yay. On the other hand, a union is very good for the business. Oh my God.
I want this so badly now.
They would have no idea how to react. All those guys out there, he's selfish. He's only in it for himself. He's a failed football player. But first of all, I don't know how the fuck you make it to like be in a big name in college sports but you're a failure. Okay, but
right, yeah.
But the whole thing is just let's quickly move off of that. But the independent contractor thing, that's like the biggest thing. It's like that's the biggest thing that I think won't change when Triple H takes over, and that's the biggest thing I think should change. Because they either you treat them like independent contractors, or you put them on a real fucking contract and make them employees and give them the same fucking benefits that your employees does. That dude, Mark Carano, that is always in Total Divas and act like he's a boss or something when he's just somebody's goon. I fucking hate him. I can't stand him. I bet you that motherfucker has full dental and has a guaranteed salary and vacation time and all the fucking perks of being a corporate yeah, all the fucking perks
options
of a corporate executive at any other company. Motherfucker does not take one bump, does not entertain one fan, and it's literally probably hundreds of these fucks working for WWE. But the people who actually go out, they're independent contractors. They don't have health insurance. They don't get all these benefits. They get heat on them if they want to take time off. The fuck? Like, so yeah.
Honestly, when Mikaze snapped back at that fucking mark, he should have been like, I've got fucking health insurance.
Oh, yes, let's talk about that, because that's running the same thing.
Yep.
Somebody was talking about how he looked. I suppose they called him ugly, which I think he's adorable.
Right? Yeah.
I do. So his snapback was, yeah, you're right. I'm gonna go back to my hot ass wife and my six-figure salary. I was like, damn, Makazi, you tired of these motherfuckers, ain't it? Just hating. They just hating because they want to be in his spot.
Oh, no. No doubt about that.
You should have learned how to sew, motherfucker, okay? Oh, yes. I've always liked him. When I found out like they were together, I was like, oh, that is so cute. He used to be a wrestler, but now he makes other people gear.
Right.
But I think his best work is her for a reason. That's his boo.
He has incentive to up his game.
Oh my God. What was it? Her takeover Brooklyn, the first takeover Brooklyn.
Oh, I love that gear.
Oh my God, it's the best gear. I liked her gear at this year's WrestleMania too. I thought she looked like a fucking star.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, she looked tremendous during WrestleMania. Of course,
people outside of WWE are starting to notice.
Mm-hmm.
She was nominated for a Fox Teen Choice Award for what is it, Best Female Athlete or something like that?
Female athlete, yeah.
And she did some hosting for BET in preparation for the awards. And she also got to attend the awards and walk the red carpet. And she looked gorgeous.
Yep.
And I bet like people who did not know who she was, when they Googled, like, who the fuck is Sasha Banks? She sound like a rapper or something. She must be signing Young Money. She must think she Nicki Minaj with their hair. And then they Google her, they're like, she's a wrestler? They don't. I guarantee you, it's some people that's like, wrestlers look like that now? They just start watching again. Like, really. She's a very beautiful woman, and she could represent the company so well as like one of the faces of the brand. And I am hoping that this feud with Alexa isn't just a stopgap, like the rumors say, because okay, we can get on Fetch now. I guess.
Yep.
It's talking more about this gauntlet match. Like, I don't know what everybody else was seeing. Okay, I really don't.
Thank you.
In that match, I don't know what everybody else was seeing, but she was not good. She was not great. She was decent. And I thought it was like, she's not believable. To me, Braun Strowman, he looks funny. He does. He got a toddler face. Looks like a baby. But his intensity, his movesets, the way he carries himself, he is believable to me as a monster. Take it to another person. Big Cass, not. He doesn't carry himself like a monster. I know he's 7 foot tall because Enzo has told me for the last 4 years that this motherfucker is 7 foot tall. But he doesn't carry himself like one. He doesn't come across as a monster. He doesn't talk like a monster. I'm not scared of him. I'm not. Even though he's a bigger guy. And Big Cass, to me, is the male version of Nia Jax. Like, I'm not scared of you. You're not scary. Your moveset is trash. She beat Mickie James by running over her. That's how she pinned a fucking legend.
And
fuck out of here.
And she didn't even do it like a ton of force, you know?
No.
Like if she was dead sprint, like ganking somebody on like a pounce,
the way Mark Henry used to do,
or like like Mojo Rawley does his pounce now, you know, something like that. But no,
she ran at her, put her hands up, and Mickie James took a back bump. That's what happened. Like, I was legit sitting there just like, don't get mad, Tonya, because you know this is The Rock's cousin, and he got her in the business, and by goddamn it, they are gonna push her regardless. But I was just sitting there like, they really are gonna have her run through the entire division. Like, And if you do that, what's next? Even still, I like how Sasha came out. I like how, because I mean, Sasha's at this point a veteran and can carry people. It makes some kind of sense of the narrative. I loved that standing boss state. It was great. Kudos to whoever came up with that. But it's just the idea of Nia Jax is miles ahead and better than the presentation. And people can blame it on her music or her wardrobe, or whatever they want to blame it on. But it's her. She is not scary. She does not carry herself like a monster. It's okay to smile and smile while you're kicking somebody's ass. But she is smiling like, she's finna go for ice cream or go walk in the park. It's too fucking happy. There's no viciousness about it. I'm serious. She's somebody who should stay down in NXT off TV until she got believable. And if she couldn't, then fucking cut her. I'm sorry. I am not a fan of participation awards. If you don't entertain me, I'm going to say so. And and all of that, like, I was making an argument like a month ago that gender was worse, but he actually gets heat and reactions. So no matter how much I think about him, the crowd's making noise. They're into it. The crowd is apathetic as fuck when Nia Jax is controlling a match. They care when somebody smaller gets something on her because, hey, yay, this big, boring-ass woman is about to get beaten. Seriously. I'm going to tell you a little story. Then I'm going to let you say what you got to say. Sometimes with my kids, we'll mimic like things that wrestlers do, like the unspoken taunts, like for the Undertaker, do the throw slash, or for Brock Lesnar, jump back in place. And my 5-year-old, she loves doing that. And like, Mama, guess who this is? Guess who this is? So guess what she did for Nia Jax? Just guess. She just stood there. She said, guess who this is? And just stood there. And I was like, who is that? And she was like, Nia Jax. And I was like, oh my God. Even my child getting at her. Even my 5-year-old saying she don't do shit. And she's 5.
What's the phrase about wisdom from the mouth of babes or something like that?
Right. So if it's Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax at SummerSlam, I'm skipping that match. And I hope Alexa Bliss wins.
I tell you what, yeah, I don't think that is going to be the SummerSlam match. I think it's going to be, God, I just want it to be a singles match is what I want. Like, I fear it's going to be like a triple threat or a fatal 4-way or something. And there's just no need for that fucking shit. Like, if you want to have everybody on the card, fucking put them in a pre-show match, because literally they need to start fucking having big pay-per-view matches, singles matches with the women. Or again, it's just another way in that the company is telling you they don't actually matter. They don't get singles matches on big cards. Like, that's literally, it's not even a subtext. It's pretty overt text. Like, if you matter, you get big singles matches. If you don't, you don't. Like, that's end of story. Yeah, if that is the singles match, if it is Alexa and I am selling my SummerSlam ticket. I don't care what kind of loss I take on it, and I'm just going to go out and get drunk with friends in Brooklyn, because that'll be way more fun. Yeah, Nia is, like you said, the idea of her is so much more appealing than her performance. And when there are definitely ways that the company could utilize her better, new gear, new music, a little bit more coaching in the terms of sense of how to carry herself. But at some point, we also have to put some level of responsibility on the performers as well. And I just don't get it when I look through Twitter and see all these people being like, man, Nia's great or whatever. I'm just like, am I insane? What are they seeing that I am not, you know? And again, it's kind of like what we talked about with the ladder match. People want to like certain things, so they will will themselves into liking them instead of just liking what is good. And it's understandable. I have certainly done that sort of thing. I don't blame anybody for holding those sorts of views, but in terms of like the comparison you said, like the monster among men, Braun Strowman, whatever, you know, I'm not finished with you. What does Nia Jax have? Does she have a cool tagline? Does she have like a good catchphrase? Like, these are all things she could be pitching to creative, presumably. Maybe she is. It's entirely possible, and they're just not taking any advice, which would be unfortunate. Would not be entirely unsurprising, but I don't know. The women don't even get singles matches at house shows. Yeah, that's a good point. How about that? They don't even get singles matches at house shows. They're all thrown together in 6-woman, 8-woman tags or whatever. So I don't know. Nia Jax is frustrating. Hopefully the Mae Young Classic can unearth somebody who has that sort of physical presence and can really bring it in a way that, you know, because there's definitely a spot for a monster in the women's division, in both women's divisions, both on Raw and SmackDown, and there really isn't one currently, as seen by the fact that they're presenting Nia, and on Blue Brand, they're trying to say Tamina is such a powerhouse, and it's weird when Drew Gulak, a guy whose entire gimmick right now is not doing high spots, does a better Samoan splash deliberately poorly than Tamina does, which is supposed to be maybe her finisher or super kicker finisher. I don't even know. So yeah, I don't know. The lack of depth is very much shown when you put people into roles that they're just not really adequate in filling. And I think it's okay to say those things. Like if we can't say those things for fear of offending somebody or for, I don't know, then what's the point even talking about wrestling for even 1 second, you know? Like, I don't know. It's weird. So Nia Jax, boy, I tell you, the whole idea of her as Fetch is something terrific that I think it was you that came up with it. Like when
I don't know who it was.
It was one of us, but like it's such a perfect encapsulation of her character and kind of what we've been saying this entire night, in that people want to see things happen or see people happen, or, you know, but so they will try to will it into existence even when it doesn't exist. And I feel like that's what we're kind of bumping up against in wrestling fandom right now.
You know what? You make a good point. And I'm guilty of this too. The only thing is, like, when I am given enough information about somebody,
you'll change your mind.
I would change my mind.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you 2 examples. First, Roman Reigns. Because I became a fan of him when he was injured, and I was watching, like, shoot stuff. Like, it was an interview that he was doing down in NXT. Like, he barely had a name. And that was one of the things, like, it just struck me how he's always talking about his family. He's always talking about his kid. And I was like, it seems like it's like somebody I want to root for. On top of learning that he kept pushing his hernia back in to go, like, that's what made me interested into, like, getting to know more about him. So, like, when he won the Royal Rumble and I was defending his ass like crazy, people saying his match against Brock was going to suck. Like, I really, like, I saw something there from watching old FCW matches, because I didn't think that they were presenting him, and they weren't, properly at that time in the ring or on the microphone as a character or anything. So, like, I kept saying to everybody else and also to myself, like, you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen with him and Brock. You haven't seen it. It could be good. They could change people's expectations, blah, blah, blah. Lord, if he had disappointed me, like, if that match had sucked, I would not be a fan of his right now. I would have been like, case in point, Baron Corbin. Like, I had the same thing. Like, there's something there. But like, I got to know him. He really seems like a wet blanket and somebody I would not hang around, like in real life. Seriously. So like, maybe he's just great character actor. He never drops it. But okay, I was like, but in the ring, maybe. I think since he's come up to the main roster, he's regressed. He has not risen to the level of talent that he is, like Roman had. That's why I call him bootleg merch. Well, that's one of the reasons. But like, I was all in on Baron Corbin, and they've been pushing him for a year, and I'm like, no thanks. So like, I get you getting behind a wrestler and wanting to see them succeed, but like, once they disappoint you a few times, you know, it's time to like put that down. Go find somebody. There's so many fucking wrestlers out there. You don't have to just stick with that one if they suck. I promise. You can move on. Like, seriously. I didn't even like, I'm so interested in, because like, I was noticing him regress in his matches before other people have. And so now that other people have seen it, I want to go back and watch that match against him and Sami Zayn, because like, I feel as though it was a match with AJ Styles, and it just he took too much time to do something. Don't just like, it's like a good 2 or 3 seconds where you pause and you're supposed to be on offense. Do something. Kick him, punch him, spit at him, do something. Don't just pause. It's like dead air on the radio. Nobody wants that. So those are the things where I'm like, well, maybe because the system is different from NXT to the main roster. Like the setup, the presentation, where the cameras are, all that's the same. But nobody holds your hand on the main roster. They pretty much just send you out there, and like, it's all you a lot of the times. Like, you know, you may get a script promo, but I'm talking about for matches. Most of the time it's all you and the other guy. This is the finish. So like, and he's Mr. Money in the Bank. I keep forgetting that. But I don't know. It's so like, it's too many heels running shit. Good gracious. I think we talked about that last week. Yeah. Just, there is nobody that's chasing that feels on an upright. You know.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so depressing. There's really, like, if you it's almost kind of like you gotta pick your person and just root for them despite the booking. Like, and what I would suggest is be smart like I did and pick somebody who's always gonna get pushed in. I don't know who else that could be, because unless it's a part-timer.
Yeah. You can always root for Brock.
You can always root for Brock, because he's going to get pushed regardless. Oh, yes. Let's get to Brock and Samoa Joe. And I don't think there's any shame in just, if they want to make things more interesting, in my opinion, they should have Joe go over. He's been doing great. And yes, I do criticize him being in the ring, but he makes up for it so much with his character and his talking, that like, you just give him good opponents, and I think that'll be okay. It's not like he's just stinking up the joint. It's just he obviously has this thing where it's like 5 minutes into the match, he's kind of tired. He's kind of spent, and the match is gonna slow down tremendously. But like if you put him in there with somebody who knows what they're doing, like Brock obviously knows what he's doing. I could like let's have some go down. He passes out to the Coquina Clutch, new Universal Champion, and we can go from there. Like Brock doesn't need that title. He doesn't. He's Brock. So, and if they're worried because the title's not on TV, like when I read that rumor, I was like, "Are you serious? Like they put the title on the guy, right? Like you put the title on a guy who barely shows up, and then there's an issue when that affects it. No shit. Did you not learn from when you put the WWE title? Like, I don't. Sometimes the logic is greatly missing from the decisions made, and I want Joe to go over. That's pretty much what I'm. Let him go over. Let them. Don't even have him rematch somehow because Roman already called himself the number one contender. Then Braun's not finished with Roman. You could have an ambulance match where referee's discretion. Neither one of those motherfuckers can move, so it's a no contest. So because of this, somehow they get involved, and at SummerSlam, just put all four of them in a match. Have the men have a multi-man match, so some women can get some singles matches at the big shows for once. For fuck's sakes. Let's not try to cram. Oh, we gotta get all the women on the card. First of all, no, you do not. Second of all, you put some more men in multi-man matches. You got a million of them on the roster. You got like 12 women. So make the Universal title match a fatal four-way. Boom. Problem solved. Less time. I mean, there's more time that you can give to the women. There you go. Solved everything.
If only that would happen. If only that would be the case. Unfortunately, it's not going to be. I just thought of a joke about Big Cass that it was percolating in my head when you were talking about it earlier, and now it's gone. I just lost the joke. This is such a disappointing moment in my life. Oh, okay. So what I want Enzo to do during some promo is to say, you know what, guys? I actually have his official medical records, and he's 6'10" or 6'11" or something. Just like fucking shoot on him. I mean, he probably is like 7 foot. I have no idea, but it would just be funny to see Enzo use that as like a line against him. I don't know. I think that'd be clever. That feud's not gonna be any good.
Yeah.
So
I actually like that.
Right? I feel like that'd be a cute little bit.
Did you watch their segment?
I saw the clip. I didn't watch the whole thing.
Oh, I was watching it and I was so triggered because I was realizing. I was like, this is why I like Enzo at first. Enzo is me, cause like I'm like somebody you really fucking care about and you love them to death, and they're like really your fucking family. Like, and you kind of feel like you need that person. If they do some horrible shit to you, you're like, well, that's in the past. Let's just move on from here. And I was just thinking, like, people like, he's so stupid. And I'm like, no, he's not. That's his fucking brother. Like, it made total sense to me. I knew Cass was going to do what he was going to do. But just, that's fucking character development right there with Enzo especially. Like, he's not just a loud, brash, cocky. And there's a reason behind that. See, now some people are like, oh, his character's so annoying. He's little in a land of giants.
Yeah, he's trying to stand out.
Yes, he has to stand out. I can't be the biggest guy or the best wrestler, but I can have the loudest mouth. It's so I really, really love that. And I just hope that the rumors out there aren't true and that he has heat and they're trying to bury him Zack Ryder style. I really hope not, because I think Enzo's a valuable asset. I don't think Cass would know what over felt like if he did not get teamed up with Enzo Amore. That's my honest opinion. He would not know how it feels for people to cheer for him and chant for him if it wasn't for Enzo. Enzo was the star of the team. Like, seriously. So to break him up, good luck, Cass. It's interesting to see where it goes. I think he has a definite ceiling. I think his ceiling is lower than Enzo's because Enzo is creative and he can talk. And if they don't get that motherfucker on 205 Live after this is over with, I don't know what the fuck they are doing. I have been suggesting this for the longest time. Like, well, Enzo can't wrestle. Okay, he can bump and he can talk. And people actually care about him. So we're trying to get people to care about the cruiserweights. He don't have to wrestle. Not that much, really. I'm not talking about put the belt on him. Put him in that division so there can be some interest there. Because I honestly think he could be an asset to them. But who knows? Who knows? Because, like, before the revival took off, like, the only thing popping for the tag teams, the NXT, was Enzo and Cass.
Yeah, I mean, like, the championship tag team title match at Brooklyn 1 was, the Murphy and Blake versus the Vaudevillains. So, like, what does that say about how dire the tag division was, down there? Like, and people were wondering, like, why wasn't it, why aren't they putting Enzo and Cass over? And still remain wondering that to that day, because since I was there, the post week, like, episode of NXT taping or whatever was beforehand, and you can go back and watch it. Enzo and Cass opened, like, the show. It was an 8-man tag, which is hilarious because it was Alpha and the Revival versus Hype Bros and Enzo and Cass. And Enzo and Cass opened the show, and they got the loudest pop of the night. And you can go back and watch it on the network. The entire crowd is, my name is, like, people were losing their fucking minds for that. Like, that entire weekend, that was the biggest pop. Like, that was the biggest reaction. And I don't know, they just never got that push to the titles or whatever. So we'll see. I tend to agree with you in that, like, Enzo has a lot of versatility, and I don't, unless Cass all of a sudden gets a lot better in the ring, and I don't really see that happening, then I think Enzo is a lot more valuable, has a lot more to offer than Cass. But even then, they still work better as, like, a team. So hopefully eventually Cass will come around and realize, they'll get back together, and they'll because Cass will be like, and they have to do, like, a real mea culpa where Cass, like, legitimately says, I'm sorry, this is why I did that, and, this is why,
I mean,
so we'll see if that is written like that.
He doesn't have to really explain that much. The main roster is evil, and NXT really ain't short stopping. So, like, just the nature of the company, look who they work for. They work for the McMahons.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's why people, when you have a true blue babyface like a Becky or a Bailey, like, we thirst for that, because, like, fuck, Daniel Bryan's not even a true blue babyface. He's a fucking asshole. He is. I like him. Not crazy about him, but he's a fucking asshole. Like, I actually preferred him as a heel. I know I'm weird, but I just thought, this is the most smug bastard to ever smug. Like, seriously. And Kevin Owens getting on his ass about talking shit about Raw. Gave me, when he made that Great Balls of Fire joke, and he was like, that's the only good thing about being on SmackDown. I'm no longer a victim when you bash Raw. I was like, yes! Dang it, Kevin. Oh, it was glorious. It was, and how dare you? Great Balls of Fire is going to be way better than the last 2 SmackDown pay-per-views.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's a very, very good point. Great Balls of Fire the card is so hot.
Right.
The card is so hot that the pay-per-view is so hot that it had me tweeting at Sean being like, I want to do this preview for this pay-per-view 2 weeks before it was even.
What preview do you want to do?
Take a wild guess. You'll never guess on the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view what preview I want to write.
It can't be Sasha.
It can't possibly be that, could it?
Is it?
It is, yeah. I never get to write that preview for Sasha Banks matches.
You don't?
No, I never do. I always write something else.
Oh, wow. And see, I never worry about Raw because I already know if he has a match, what match I'm previewing. It's Roman. I got that like last year sometime. Got that locked up. So, okay. All right.
Yeah. I don't. I'm gonna revolt if he doesn't give it to me because I put it out there on Twitter. Give me this preview. Come on, Sean.
All right. What else is going on in the WWE before I just mention my ramblings about what I was doing today?
What else is going on? I don't know. Well, I mean, Daniel Bryan, I know you just were talking about him coming back has made SmackDown. I tell you, his presence. And I feel like I should have realized it more because when he was gone, like the show just lost so much likability and just energy and enthusiasm. And I tell you what, I don't think the show has changed all that much in the last 2 weeks. There's definitely been tweaks and stuff. It has definitely been more fluid and more coherent and more intelligent, but just his being there, going out and opening the show with Flight of the Valkyries, Ride of the Valkyries, whatever his fucking theme is. It just puts the entire crowd in such a mood, and it just sets the whole stage for the show. And I feel like that's totally like even when Raw is really good, it doesn't really have that sort of thing. I really think that Daniel Bryan is the ace in the hole for SmackDown Live, and I don't think people quite recognize like how valuable he is. Like I'm gonna go back and watch. I was having some issues with my feed last night, so I need to go back and watch the Talking Smack in full again because that was he's such a known quantity in personality that everyone knows how to play off of him. Like whether you're a face or a heel, like you can go into a situation and immediately know Daniel Bryan is a guy that I can play off of, and it's going to work for me because people are interested in him so much and like him so much. So I'm going to do good things or do bad things, and it's going to work just because he's there. And that's such, who does that sound like? That's such a valuable thing to have. And like Raw doesn't have that sort of thing. Whether it be by, because they don't want that sort of thing or they haven't, pushed that sort of thing or what is it? I don't know. But like the difference in Kurt Angle, who is also extremely beloved, and Daniel Bryan is night and day. And I feel like Raw isn't really using Angle in a way other than just being like a cipher instead of being like an active character. Whereas, SmackDown really treats Daniel Bryan as probably its biggest star, and I think rightly so. So his presence being back is so much better. And I wanted to put in one more plug for what SmackDown is doing or what they started last night, and that's the feud that's gonna happen between Sami Zayn and Maria and Mike Kanellis, which I am so hyped for. Like, I think did we talk about this last week? I think we might. It might have been off air, but
Yeah.
Yeah, like I am so hyped for this feud, so much, because Maria being able to be like, you know, the first lady or whatever gimmick, and Mike being her little, you know, doofus Patsy is gonna be so much fun once they get that going. And Sammy is such a perfect character for them to play off of, to really introduce. Sammy's kind of like Daniel Bryan in that sense, in that you know how to play off of him. Like, he's such a known quantity. Like, his neuroticism is so well known. Like, even AJ Styles, you know, a couple weeks back when he was, oh boy, do we want to talk about AJ Styles? But even a couple weeks ago when AJ Styles was talking to Nakamura backstage, and then he was like, oh God, okay, Sammy gets really into these things, you know, and like the whole, when you have such a known personality and such an outsized personality that everyone knows how to play off, it makes the whole thing, makes the entire universe feel a lot more coherent and a lot more entertaining. And I think Sammy's gonna be such a great boon for the Canellises in their first big feud. Like, I cannot wait for the moment when they slow dance over his prone body in the ring. I cannot fucking wait. It's gonna give me so much life. I will straight up give that show an 80. I don't care what the fuck. Like, they could have James Ellsworth actually cash in the Money in the Bank contract, and I'd still give that show an 80 if they fucking have that slow dance moment. Like, seriously. I know. Don't put that idea out there. I'm so sorry. I take that back.
You know they got people watching.
I'm knocking on my table right now. It is made of wood. So
okay. We're gonna have to talk about what you just posted.
Yeah. Yep.
Why is Roman Reigns calling out the Undertaker?
Oh yeah, how about that shit?
What the fuck?
Isn't Undertaker retired?
Retired, right?
Isn't he? What is he coming back? Like, or is
for SummerSlam? No, God, please don't come back. Look,
wouldn't that be the fucking worst?
Especially not against Roman, because no. I don't want Roman to have that responsibility of carrying his dead ass
right?
Another man.
Seriously.
Yeah, stop that. I don't know. Maybe they were just chanting for the Undertaker because they know he retired him, and he just did that to get heat with the crowd because it's totally cool that he has heat with the crowd now. I don't know. That's weird. But okay, listen. I haven't done this in a while, but sometimes I go on Roman Reigns binges and I just watch whatever I can just to get those good vibes in me, you know. So I was doing that today. And there's a lot of things that, like, I kind of, first of all, I know a lot of people gave him shit, but I miss his white contacts. He looked like a werewolf. I miss him. I was watching him with him. I was like, wonder why he stopped wearing those. I miss him. And also, like, I miss him, like, having a variety of people to work with. Like, see, I want Braun to be finished with him already. It's been 6 months. Seriously. At this point, like, Roman's going to be at his funeral in his casket. Somebody's going to be giving the eulogy, and here comes Braun. I'm not finished with you, and knocks the casket over. And I'm sure that would mark that would make people pop and mark out. But I'm just like, again, this is getting to Big Show territory. God. So after this, let's just have a break. Because, like, if WWE knew how to do, like, 6 months feuds, I'd be totally cool with it. But they don't. So after this ambulance match, I really hope he gets to move to somebody else. Sweet Jesus.
That isn't Undertaker?
I'll just tolerate it if it is Undertaker. Because why is he calling that? See, this is going to bother me for the longest. I just hope, I really hope it is what I say it is, you know.
Yeah, it's going to be funny because once again, I'm going to be the one guy being like, fuck Undertaker.
Everybody else
Everybody else would be like, he's going to get his win back or whatever, and be like, this is I'm going to be so cranky about it. This is bullshit. It's going to be great.
Why the fuck? Why go through all of that? Take the coat off and the hat. It was the perfect ending to his fucking career. Lord, why is he calling out Undertaker? All people. So that would be just like, I don't know. I hope not. Because to me, that would mean just fuck. What are you waiting for? Just turn him heel. Hey, if you bring the Undertaker back again to face him again, you gonna have old broken down man who can no longer wrestle a decent match beat one of your younger guys. Come on now. No. Oh Jesus. That's thrown me for a loop. I really hope. I swear, it's just like, why is he calling out the Undertaker? You know he a company man. He don't do shit, and it's in the WWE ring.
Yeah.
He don't do shit unless they tell him to do that shit. Oh God, this is so no. But the only thing that gives me pause is in like, didn't he just have surgery? He's not ready to compete, or like. Well, I really just want them to go ahead and turn him heel because he already is one. Like the promos he gives is like, if I didn't like you, I would really not like you. You know what I'm saying? Because like he this is my yard and I make the rules. Who coming out and just saying no one can beat me? So after y'all get finished messing around, I'm the number one contender for the second biggest show of the year. You gotta have balls and kayfabe to do that with all these other people. And really, if Samoa Joe hadn't came out, nobody else said a thing. So I guess it's like, hey, I guess he's the number one contender. Kurt Angle is the boss. Like, and we all know Roman. See, that's what I was watching because people were talking. We got into a discussion in the daily talking about Stephanie slapping him, so I had to go back and watch.
Oh boy,
I did. I went back and watched all of that. That little piece of time where he was booked like legitimate fucking badass monster for like 2 weeks. That was fun. And I'm just watching all of that, and I'm like, still rather have him like just be who he is, and don't go after the crowd like he's been doing. To just keep doing you, but go against faces. Like all Finn Balor needs to get over is like one good feud with Big Merch. That's it. He is set. He is set for life. People will love him forever. Finn Balor's little bitty ass beating, like he beats Roman. People are gonna, in like a big epic hardcore match. Maybe people will shut up about him with Brock. I don't know.
Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be
it
nice?
Would.
Yeah.
And it would also mean that Seth Rollins falls lower and lower on the totem pole to where he's supposed to be in the company.
Ooh.
Seth is the most overpushed act, and he has been for a long time. Why is he on the cover
of the video game?
Why? And
yeah, it's a good question. I don't fucking know.
Like, and they were like, well, who would you put? Sasha Banks, honestly.
Right?
Like, yes, people know. I wouldn't put Roman because the point is to get people to actually buy the game.
To buy the game, yeah.
He's not there. But like, yeah. first of all, that's great PR. You put a woman on the cover of your video game, and like, there's some people out there that'll be a little upset, but those people don't matter. Like, WWE would get so much props if they had to put a woman on there. What are they getting for Seth Rollins? Like, and to me, it kind of feels like he was supposed to get it in 2015, but it was a little too risky because his little pee-pee was all over the internet. So they were like, okay, we're just going to go with him at a later date. And, he's a face now. So
that's interesting. Yeah, that's a good theory because the commercial is very much a heel commercial.
Yes. Yes, it is. Like that.
It doesn't make any fucking sense for a face to be doing that shit.
But if he was still like the betrayer of the Shield, that would make perfect sense for that character. But the guy he's supposed to be playing, and then the tagline, be like no one. What? If you don't shut up with your whole everything is a patchwork of former wrestlers. Are you kidding me? Be like no one. Since when? Since when, Seth?
I kind of like the idea that you just brought up, that he was supposed to be on the cover 2 years ago. Now I'm just going further with it and saying that commercial was filmed like 2 years ago. And just like, is there anything in that commercial that shows that it could not have been from 2 years ago? I don't think so.
How does his hair look? Because he still had a little bit of the blonde 2 years.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I think you got me on that one.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention to his hair, but I think it was all black. So.
All black, yeah.
Yeah. But everything else, like, pretty much falls in line because he was getting super pushed in 2015. But, like, of course, PR and like, well, if we put him on the cover, he just had his penis come out on the internet a few months ago. Bad press, blah blah blah. You know. So they went with Sting that year, right?
Yeah, I think so. Or was he the year before? I don't fucking remember. Was Steve Austin 2015 or was he 2016?
He was, because last year it was
Bill Goldberg.
Boy, yeah. So he's the first full-timer since CM Punk, though.
That's crazy.
It is, because he's nowhere near that level of a guy.
Right.
Are you fucking kidding me? Sasha is way closer as far as like wrestling, making the impact she's made.
Yeah.
Getting the outside attention from other outlets like Punk did. Seth Rollins was just lucky that Jon Stewart likes marginally talented high flyers.
Holy shit.
I take the shit out of Seth for two reasons. Because I still love him. He comes out here and he performs his ass off. But I do that because the motherfucker betrayed the Shield.
Yeah.
I'm going to bury your ass if you betray the Shield. And also, Roman doesn't just come out and say it, you know, but in so many words. They were not that close when they were in the Shield. So, and at a certain point, he didn't have nothing nice to say about him.
Ooh.
Probably because he was trying to take his push.
Fair point.
But, you know, now they're cool. He'll say nice things about him, but the way he talks, he's like, oh, yeah, me and Ding, we just hit it off the bat, and we... They're like, well, you know, Seth had a different vibes. You know, I'm like, what are you talking? Stop. Oh, I cannot wait till this man, like, can give, like, real off-the-cuff shoot interviews. Because I am going to listen my ass off so hard. I still need to listen to have you listened to Bailey on Stone Cold?
I have not.
I haven't gotten around to it. Just because I think he either should have waited or he should have did this a year ago. Because I don't want to hear Bailey being
Right? Those quotes,
miserable.
Those quotes. I'm in a weird place right now in my career. It's just like, it's fucking depressing.
Yeah, not be excited.
Man, that is really sad. It's gonna be so weird when they put the belt on Sasha at Great Balls of Fire, and then immediately, for some reason, they start a Sasha Bailey feud and try to turn Sasha heel for Barclay. It's gonna be the worst.
Look,
oh my god, guys, no.
Look, I told them, I done said it. I was been saying it. If you try to put Bailey out there and people want Sasha, they gonna boo Bailey, and people, they're never gonna boo Bailey. Okay, watch. And that shit happened, didn't it? And it wasn't even against Sasha, it was against Alexa Bliss.
Right.
Imagine her across from Sasha. At this point, no.
With every little biting insult Sasha says getting massively cheered.
Let's not do that.
Please no.
Try to figure out something else for Bailey. Other than kissing the boy.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I said on Twitter that Raw should just kayfabe cut her ass and SmackDown should pick her up. Like, I think, fuck it. Yeah. Like, Kurt Angle could be like, you know what? You just haven't worked out. I don't care. If you're going to make John Cena a free agent for no reason all of a sudden, you can fucking have Raw kayfabe cut Bailey and be like, man, that's fucked up. I can't believe they did that. And then have Daniel Bryan fucking be like, you know what?
Wait until Stephanie comes back.
Yes.
To do that.
They should legit do this though, because God, she would be so much better on SmackDown.
And then don't bury her on SmackDown.
Right.
Could you not bury her on that show? Like, seriously. Otherwise, what is the point? Like, seriously, that girl sold so much merch. And Sasha was actually the person that made NXT a draw, but Bailey continued it. Yeah. Like, when she got the championship, she didn't miss a beat.
Nope.
So it's so like frustrating, but I keep going back to the Scott Hall quote where he says Vince actually said he would rather have half empty arenas cheering what he wants than full arenas cheering something he doesn't. And I'm like, you provide a service. Do you really? You're an entertainer. You provide a service. It's to entertain the people and give the people what they want, and it's not to cater to them, because you got to draw out emotions. But he just flats out. He has killed the spirit of at least 1.5 million people to never watch his show again for the last 2 years at least. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of people that left, and they didn't just. A lot of those people picked up other promotions, because I follow them on Twitter. They used to tweet about WWE, and now they're tweeting about other things. And a lot of them were just like, "Fuck it, I would just watch something other than wrestling." Period. So it's like, yeah, Vince is rich, but everybody that works for him isn't, and a big reason why a lot of the wrestlers have the respect for Stone Cold that they do is because when his name was on the marquee, they knew they were going to be making way more money than when his name wasn't. And to do that, you got to build stars. And if you're just building the brand, then not only do the wrestlers suffer, the brand also suffers. Mm-hmm. And some people are like, well, no, they're all in on Roman Reigns, but they're in on him in the wrong way. See, they have, because John Cena was able to keep them afloat. Because if you look at his figures, he stopped the viewers bleeding. John Cena did not bring in massive amount of viewers like Stone Cold did. He didn't. I'm sorry, all you Cena marks. He's a draw, yes. He stopped people from leaving. A few people may have come in here and there, but he did not bring a massive new audience to wrestling like Stone Cold did. And because John Cena was able to do that for as long as he was, that's fine for them. So the intention was not to make Roman Reigns into a traditional draw like it has been in the past. The goal was to just have enough to where everything stays stable. But, Daniel Bryan was the monkey wrench in those plans. A big fucking monkey wrench. Like, I think it would have been a bit more successful had they either waited to push Roman and just let Daniel Bryan thing play out. Because if they had just a little bit more patience, then like Daniel Bryan's health problems would have still come up, and they would have still had to take the belt off of him, and they still would have forced him to retire. But all of this stuff that was happening, there was just this panic of that they're never serious, they're never gonna get behind him, they're never gonna push him. And then here comes this other dude that the company is behind, and they're pushing him in the spot that fans want Daniel Bryan in. So they threw a monkey wrench in their plans. So now they're starting hemorrhaging viewers left and right. And like, I think it's safe to say, because if you look at ratings for like the past year, maybe they've kind of stayed stable. But it's way below what the normal used to be, because they drove people off with their bullshit. And so now they have this other poster child, and it's kind of working. He like in Los Angeles, he was getting cheered and booed. He's second to John Cena in mergers. If there was no John Cena, he'd be number one. But it's working at such a smaller scale that there's no benefit for, like, unless you're the very tip top pushed person. Like X-Pac talks about, he's like, he was just a mid card guy, and he was making a whole hell of a lot of money because Stone Cold was on the top. I don't think that's true of just mid card guys who will never be in main event. Just mid card guys now are not making X-Pac money, and that's because they de-emphasize individual stars and everything's the brand. And they need to change that shit. Like, cause there's an audience out there that wants wrestling, but they're sick of WWE shit and they're just not gonna watch them. So we either need WWE to change, or we need to find a fucking money mark and get this shit rolling. Ted Turner's still alive. He still has some money. Where he came by another company.
Seriously. Get back in the wrestling business.
Yeah. It's a shame because there's so many talented people. And let me just say, for all these people who are like, oh, most wrestlers are conservative and Republicans.
Oh yeah.
That is not true anymore. Shut that shit up. Like, I don't know. I think it started with Edge and Christian. I honestly do. With just a different way of thinking. All of the millennials, there are a few conservatives mixed in there, but the overwhelming majority of my generation on down is not for that at all. So if a wrestler comes out and supports something that's problematic, don't defend them. Just say, "Oh yeah, that it sucks if they think that," and move on. Like I like the AJ Styles thing. I, like people like, "Oh well, I used to like him." You can still like him. You just disagree with his politics. He hasn't hurt anybody. He has, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like, stop scouring people's social media for a reason to judge them too. That's
Seriously.
weak as fuck. It's weak as fuck. Uh, I guess that's all. Anything else you want to
add? Not really. Just if anybody hasn't watched the Last Man Standing match from NXT tonight, go do that and realize what stipulation matches can and should be, and the proper use of violence in a wrestling match. And otherwise, just go hug yourselves.
Bye.